Welcome back. Welcome back. This is Brother Jacob, and this is the False Prophet channel where we get Islam busted and the false prophet of Islam, Muhammad, busted on a regular basis. Today, we have something very special for you. Before you right now is a character. He goes by the name of Muslim Warrior. I like to call him Muslim Cheerleader. He's no different than, well, he's a wannabe Muhammad Hijab. He's a wannabe Farrett Response. As you see, he has a very small channel. He only has 1.42K subscribers, so he has a very small channel. But yet, he tries to act like he's this big time apologetic. He's really nothing. He's really a nobody. And I'm actually giving him spotlight by even making this video, but we're just using him as a prop. This is the same guy who Rob Christian, our brother Rob Christian, who he exposed. This is the Muslim Warrior character. He's one of those Muslim cowards like Farrett Responds, who they love to make videos. Let's show you on his channel. He has all of these little videos. Christians admit Bible corruption. Sam Shamoon found a contradiction, and supposedly he's, getting everybody busted. Look, Rob Christian debates a Muslim about, so supposedly he's getting Rob Christian exposed and everybody. But this guy is a joke. And just like Farrett Responds, just like Muhammad Hijab, when you ask them to debate live, they don't debate. And their excuse is, oh, show your face, this, and that. It's just a bunch of excuses. He's a lame. And we're going to show you today how to destroy these Muslim cowards, these keyboard jihadis that's on YouTube today. It's just a bunch of cowards, man. Muhammad would be embarrassed at the Muslim community on YouTube. I mean, they are some cowards, man. You ask them to debate, they know where to be found. They talk in the comment section, but they are afraid to debate live because they see one thing about Islam. Islam is set up like this. They are betting on the fact that Muslims are ignorant about what's in the Hadith and what the Quran really says. So that's why they don't like to debate live. That's why Muslims, scholars like Zakir Naik and Shabir Ali, that's why they make excuses about, and Muhammad Hijab, that's why they make excuses about debating Christian Prince, because they can't afford to be posted all over YouTube and getting totally humiliated. Because one thing about these so-called Muslim scholars, none of them, hardly any of them, speak Arabic. So they know if they face someone like a Christian Prince or a Rob Christian, someone who is actually a native Arab speaker, they know that they will get embarrassed. So he's one of those type of people. He hides behind the keyboard, and we're going to show you something very interesting. Me and this character, this clown, we had a back and forth in the comment section. And each time we have a back and forth, I humiliate this guy. He gets totally smashed and torn into bits because that's what he is. He's a coward. Like, I don't have no respect for any man who will follow a child molester like Muhammad. This guy is not even worthy to be a man. He follows a child molester. He sits up and defends a child molester. And the problem with that is, if you ask him, would he marry a 6-year-old girl? He would probably say no. But yet he will follow a man who married a 6-year-old girl who had sex with a little child. This is who these Muslim men, you can't even call them men, because look who they follow. They follow a child molester, a pedophile. But anyway, let's show you the argument that I brought up to this coward. Let's go to Sooner.com. I'm going to easily get him busted. And I actually called in the Rob Christian show today, and I brought up this very hadith. Now let's show you that the grade for this hadith is Sahih. Okay? You got to make this known to these Muslims, because the coward that we are exposing today, Muslim warrior, Muslim cheerleader, he is one of those type of Muslims who, when you get these Muslims cornered, their new thing is they'll toss their very own hadiths under the bus. They'll toss their tafsirs under the bus. They'll toss Al-Tabari under the bus. They'll toss Jalalain under the bus. All of the heavy hitters and the early Muslim scholars, if you use their information to expose Islam, they'll turn against their own historical scholars. And that's the type of person that Muslim cheerleader is. So I'm showing you that this hadith that I'm about to read to you is grade Sahih. Sahih. So it's authentic. Okay? Now let's read it. Now this hadith I'm about to read to you, it destroys every claim that these Muslims make about Allah, when they say that Allah does not enter time and space, and that Allah created time and space when he created the heavens and the earth. And even when they say that the Quran is eternal, this one hadith destroys every single one of those claims that Muslims make. Okay, now let's read it. Abdullah B. Amir reported Satan's messenger. It's talking about Allah. He's not God's messenger. He's Satan's messenger. Abdullah B. Amir reported Satan's messenger, Muhammad, as saying, God recorded the fates of all creatures 50,000 years before creating the heavens and the earth, and his throne was upon the water. Muslim transmitted it. So this is transmitted by Sahih Muslim, and this is a Sahih hadith. Now, what's the problem right off the bat that you see? Aha! Let's focus on this number right here. 50,000 years. Okay? Now, what do Muslims tell us? They tell us that time and space are creations of Allah, but not so. Not according to this hadith. According to this hadith, time and space have always existed. Now, what does it say? It says 50,000 years before creating the heavens and the earth, Allah, he wrote the fates of every creature. Now, we all know that a year is a span of time. It's a measurement of time. So, if time and space didn't come about until the heavens and the earth were created, then how on earth is it saying 50,000 years before time and space were created? Because you can't have time and space without the heavens and the earth. Because time and space, they coexist together. You can't have space without time, and you can't have time without space. That's the space-time continuum. Okay? But according to this hadith, space and time existed before the creation of the heavens and the earth. Boom shakalaka laka. Boom shakalaka. Read what it says. God recorded the fates. It's not talking about Yahweh. It's talking about the moon deity named Allah that Muslim cheerleader worships. It says that Allah recorded the fates of all creatures 50,000 years before creating the heavens and the earth, which Muslims say is the creation of Allah, the heavens and the earth, is when time and space appeared. Okay? But not according to this hadith. So, how does this destroy the Muslims' claims that Allah does not enter time and space? I know you're asking that question, but here's your answer. I know you're probably asking me, how does that destroy the claim that Muslims make that Allah does not enter time and space? Well, here is your answer right here. It says 50,000 years before creating the heavens and the earth. So when it says 50,000 years, that means time existed before the heavens and the earth were created. Time and space already existed, because time cannot exist without space. So Allah and time and space were coexisting together before the creation of the heavens and the earth. Now here's where the bomb comes. We're about to drop the bombshell on them. Here is the formula right here. You have time and space. Write this formula in your mind. Time plus space plus Allah. That is what? That's the Trinity in Islam. That's Allah coexisting with time and space, and time and space is within Allah before the creation of the heavens and the earth. You know why? Because if there was nothing other than Allah before the creation of the heavens and the earth, then guess what? Time and space would have to fit where? If there's nothing else, time and space can only exist where? Within what? Allah. Because the hadith plainly says 50,000 years before creating the heavens and the earth. So if you got time before the creation of the heavens and the earth, that means you have space. So time and space and Allah, they coexisted as one. And Muslims, they always try to talk about how Christians believe in the Trinity, and the Trinity doesn't make sense because they don't understand the Trinity. Because number one, the Bible says, in order for you to understand concepts like the Trinity, first and foremost, you have to be filled with the Holy Spirit. And Muslims do not have the Holy Spirit, so they will never understand the concepts in the Bible like the Trinity and speaking in tongues and things like that, because they have not been renewed. You see, the Muslims don't have a connection with their God. They don't have a direct link with Allah, because Allah, according to the Muslims, Allah is nothing. He don't exist. So if he is nothing, that means you don't have a link to him. Nothing cannot link with something. You get what I'm saying? It's just like if I had two radios. If one of the radios didn't have a sender, a sender and receiver, and no antenna, then how could I communicate with the other radio that doesn't have a sender and a receiver and an antenna? Then how could I communicate with the other radio that doesn't have a sender, receiver, and an antenna? So this is the problem that the Muslims have, okay? They don't have a link with their God, so there's no way they can understand the Trinity concept and speaking in tongues or anything that we speak about in the Bible. But be that as it is, in their very books, it's describing Allah as a Trinity, because time and space before the creation of the heavens and the earth means that Allah was the only thing in existence and the only thing for time and space to fit in. So this destroys their little claim that Allah does not enter into time and space. And here's another bombshell I'm about to drop. You know how they say, you know how the Muslims always say that the Quran is uncreated and the Quran is eternal? Well, according to this hadith, it says God recorded the fates of all creatures 50,000 years before creating the heavens and the earth. Now, if that's the case, then how can the Quran be eternal? Because the Quran records the fate of all creatures. Does it not? Does not the Quran record the fate of the heavens and the earth? In Surah 41:11, when Allah is speaking to the heavens, the smoke, and the earth, and he is speaking to it, and he's telling the smoke and the earth to come together. Is that fate of the smokeless earth and the heavens, is it not already recorded in the eternal Quran that Muslims say is eternal? Well, if that's the case, then how can that be true that the Quran is eternal when it says right here that Allah didn't record the fate of all creatures until 50,000 years before creating the heavens and the earth? So that destroys the claim that the Quran is eternal. Because if it was eternal, it wouldn't say that Allah recorded the fate of all creatures 50,000 years before creating the heavens and the earth. So like the example I gave about the smoke and the earth that the Quran speaks about in the eternal Quran, well, that conversation supposedly is already recorded in the eternal Quran, which Muslims say is an attribute of Allah. But right here in this hadith, it says that Allah recorded the fates of all creatures 50,000 years before creating the heavens and the earth. It doesn't say for all eternity, but Muslims will tell us that the Quran is uncreated and it's eternal. But the word recorded, that's an action. When you record something, you are creating something. But they tell us that the Quran is uncreated. So this hadith destroys three things. It destroys Muslims when they say that time and space didn't come about until Allah created the heavens and the earth. It destroys the claim that Allah does not enter time and space. And it destroys the claim that the Quran is eternal. And we may as well add another one. It destroys the claim when Muslims say that Allah is one. He's not one. Allah is made up of three. He coexisted with time and space, as this hadith explains. Now, let's go to that verse I wanted to show you. Surah 41:11. Now, remember what I said in the hadith. It says that Allah recorded the fate of all creatures 50,000 years before creating the heavens and the earth. But in the Quran, in Surah 41:11, you have Allah speaking to two creatures, the smoke and the formless earth. Let's read it. Then he directed himself to the heaven while it was smoke, and said to it and to the earth, come into being willingly or by compulsion. They said, we have come willingly. So you get what I'm saying? Like, how could the fate of all of the creatures be recorded only 50,000 years before the creation of the heavens and the earth, when you have creatures speaking in Surah 41:11, and this is supposed to be the eternal, uncreated Quran? So that gets their claim busted, because both statements cannot be true, and that's what a contradiction is. So when Muhammad said that Allah recorded the fate of all creatures 50,000 years before creating the heavens and the earth, he got his Muslim community busted when they say that the Quran is eternal and uncreated. Because if it's only 50,000 years before creating the heavens and the earth that he recorded these things, then how can this conversation be inside of the eternal Quran, forever recorded, never being recorded, uncreated? Both of those statements cannot be true at the same time. Okay? Now, I could go deeper into this single conversation right here in 41:11 and show you how this doesn't even make sense. As a matter of fact, I will. But I'm going to do it real briefly. I'm going to be real quick with it because I'm not trying to make this video too long. Now, it says that then he directed himself to the heaven while it was smoke, and said to it and to the earth, come into being. Now, first of all, you have to ask this question. If Allah is not in a body, Muslims say he's not a body, he's not this, he's not that, he's not like anything in creation, then why is he having to direct himself somewhere? Shouldn't he already be there? It's written as if he had to turn around. You know how you look at something behind you? Like you in your car and you looking through your rearview mirror? That's how they have it written. Like, then he directed himself. So he directed his what? What is himself that was being directed? I thought he doesn't have a body. What is he directing? His attention? What else could his attention be focused on? Was he turning a different direction? If he's nothing, then how is he turning, and how is his attention undirected and unfocused? Okay, that's one problem in this verse already. Then it says, he directed himself to the heaven while it was smoke, and said to it and to the earth, come into being willingly or by compulsion. And then they said, we have come willingly. So all of a sudden, these creatures, they just out of nowhere begin speaking Arabic. And it doesn't even make sense. How can you speak to something that doesn't exist? And the thing that doesn't exist, it responds to you. How can you speak to something that doesn't exist and then it already knows what to say? That means it exists because it heard you. So how is Allah saying come into being, and the thing that he says come into being to, it answers? If it's not in being already, then how did it hear you, stupid Allah? Do y'all see the foolishness in this Quran? And then the two creatures, the smoke and the earth, it answered him. It said, they said, we have come willingly. Now, how do we know that these are creatures? Because they understand concepts of morality. Only a soul being can understand concepts like willingness or compulsion. Inanimate objects don't understand concepts like willingness or compulsion. You get what I'm saying? And if this is God Almighty speaking, then why is he giving these two entities, why is he giving them an option? Do not the Muslims say that the only thing Allah needs to say is be, and that thing comes into existence? Do not the Muslims tell us that? Yes, they do. Even Muslim warrior, that's what they stand upon. Muslim cheerleader, that's what they say. Only thing Allah has to say is be, and whatever that thing is, it comes into existence. Well, that's not what it's saying right here. He didn't say come into being, just be. No, he said come willingly or by compulsion. He gave them an option. So what if they decided to say no? Would they be wrong if they said no, we won't come into being? Or what if they told Allah, what do you mean come into being? I hear what you're saying. For them to respond, they heard what Allah was saying. So this shows that Allah is stupid. He's saying come into being to something that hears what he is saying. Do you not see the stupidity in this, Muslims? When I say you people, I'm not speaking to the subscribers and the Christians. I'm speaking to the Muslims. Do you not see the stupidity in this? Your God is saying come into being to something, and the something responds. That means it was already in being. So why is your God saying come into being? That means he's not all-knowing. Or he would have known that these things were already existing. Which proves another point. When Muslims say that only Allah exists outside of time and space, but here we have beings that also eternally existed with Allah. The very fact that they were able to respond means that they heard him. So they already existed. And nowhere in this verse does it say, or nowhere in the Quran does it say Allah created this formless smoke in the heaven that he was speaking to. This smoke in the earth that he was speaking to. You know why? Because it already existed. This verse is taking place before time and space existed. Well, at least what the Muslims claim is, but we've proven through the hadith that we showed that time and space existed before 4111. Because the hadith said 50,000 years before the creation of the heavens and the earth. And I'm just really scratching the surface with this one particular verse right here. I can go even deeper with this but that's a whole nother subject for a whole nother day. And I don't want to keep this video too long. So at this time, I want to show you a dialogue that me and this character, Muslim cheerleader, had. Let's show you. He lied. I was in the comment section. Oh, that's about another topic. So that's for my next video. But he was trying to dispute this very hadith that I'm telling you about. As a matter of fact, let me show you the comment real quick. I actually left a comment on his channel. Let me show you real quick. This is Muslim cheerleader. Nobody want to hear that. And this is the hadith this is the comment that I left him about this same hadith that I'm telling you about, and he kept dodging the the comment. He didn't want to go into it because he knew that there's no way around this. And I left him. That's me, the false prophet. And this is the comment I left him. I said, read the following hadith, Abdul. It gets your entire Islamic claim about Allah existing outside of time and space and before time and space busted. Then I left the same hadith I showed you. It says Allah recorded the fate of all creatures 50,000 years before creating the heavens and the earth, which means 50,000 years before the creation of time and space that we presently live in. What a huge mistake your prophet made. Okay, and then I go on and continue to elaborate the same things that I'm telling you now. And he had no answer for this. Okay? He had no answer for this. Now let's go back to the hadith. Let's go back to Sunnah.com. The Muslims don't have an answer. When you start going in detail and really asking questions step by step, they're going to get frustrated. Because I'm going to tell you what really destroys Islam. Even though the Quran is enough to destroy it, what really hurts the Muslims, the Muslim apologetics, it's the hadith system. That's why I suggest everybody that's listening to this video right now, if you really want to learn how to destroy Islam, study the hadiths. Just start researching and reading through the hadiths. Go through the 6 major hadiths. Go through Sahih Muslim. Go through Sahih al-Bukhari. Go through Sunan Abu Dawood. Go through those hadiths and really just look at them. Just look at them. Various hadiths. Just start reading through them and you will see so many inconsistencies. And then when you relate it to the Quran, you'll see how it all falls apart. That's why you have a movement now in Islam called the Quranist only movement, where a lot of Muslims have begun to see this and they are just saying, you know what? To hell with these hadiths. This is giving the Christians, the Christian apologetics is giving them too much fuel and ammunition. And what ends up happening is you have certain Muslims like Muslim Cheerleader. They know they really want to go Quran only as well, because the hadiths, it does too much damage. Like this particular hadith. What can he say about this? What can any Muslim say about this when it's blatantly saying that Allah recorded the fates of all creatures 50,000 years before creating the heavens and the earth? What can he say about this? I'll tell you what they'll try to say. They'll try to use an excuse. They'll try to say something to the effect of, well, it's talking about God's time, not earthly time. Well, you know why that won't work? Because the way they define Allah, he's not regulated or under any time. So they can't even use that excuse. Because unlike Yahweh, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and my God, he enters into creation. So our God can say things like, a day to you is like 1,000 years, because our God he enters into time and space. But that claim does not fit Allah, because Allah, according to the Muslims, he does not enter time and space. So he doesn't have the right to speak about time. The only beings that can speak about time are beings that are inside of time and space. Otherwise, you are not, time and space has nothing to do with you. If you are outside of time and space, so the very fact that it says that Allah recorded the fates of all creatures 50,000 years, that means he is within space and he is keeping time. He's keeping time. Okay? So this hadith, it gets the Muslims busted because they said that time and space didn't exist before creation. They told us all this while that time and space, is a creation of Allah, and Allah, he doesn't exist in time and space. He don't enter time and space, but they can no longer say that. They say that the Quran is eternal, but with this hadith, they can no longer say that because it says 50,000 years. It doesn't say eternally. Allah knew these things. So with that, tell me what you think in the comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe. And this is Brother Jacob signing out. And this is the False Prophet channel where we get Islam busted and the false prophet Muhammad busted on a regular basis. And this is Brother Jacob signing out.